Have you ever made a snap judgment you regretted, like almost instantly? Or maybe you've agonized over a decision that just felt impossible to make? Well, what if I told you that in those moments, there are basically two different characters inside your head, battling it out? Today, we're going to crack open the work of Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman and meet these two characters. One is a fast-thinking, impulsive hero, and the other is its slow, super careful sidekick. Okay, so to really see these two characters in action, I've got a quick little puzzle for you. Now, there's only one rule here. Whatever you do, don't overthink it. Seriously, just go with the very first answer that pops right into your head. Ready? Let's put your brain to the test. All right, here we go. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 total. The bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. So, how much does the ball cost? You probably have an answer already. Got it? Good. Lock it in. So, did you say 10 cents? If you did, hey, congratulations. That means you're human. That is the answer that just springs to mind for pretty much everyone. It feels right, it's easy, and, well, it's totally wrong. The correct answer is actually 5 cents. And just think about it for a second. If the ball is 5 cents and the bat is $1 more, making it $1.05, that adds up to our $1.10. So the real question here isn't about the math. It's why does our brain, even a really smart brain, jump to the wrong answer so easily? That's the mystery we're about to solve. To explain this little mental glitch, Kahneman asks us to imagine that we have these two, well, let's call them characters living in our minds. He calls them System 1 and System 2. And, treating them like two separate people is the secret to understanding how you actually think. First up, meet System 1. This is the hero of our story. It's your gut reaction. It's super fast, totally automatic, and completely intuitive. It works without any effort at all. This is the part of your brain that knows 2 plus 2, can tell when someone's angry just from their voice, or drives a car on an empty road without thinking. And then, you've got the supporting character, System 2. This is your conscious self. It's slow, it takes a lot of effort, and it's all about deliberate analysis. This is the system you call on when you have to solve a tough math problem, park your car in a really tight spot, or try to listen to one person in a super loud room. And this right here, this is the perfect example of the conflict between them. You're looking at the famous Mueller-Lyer illusion. Right now, your System 1 is just screaming at you that the bottom line is longer. I mean, it's obvious, right? That's an automatic, powerful feeling. But your System 2, the logical part, knows the truth. It knows that if you were to pull out a ruler and measure them, they're the exact same length. But here's the craziest part. Even when you know they're the same, you can't stop your System 1 from seeing the illusion. It's still there. So that brings us back to the bat and ball problem. I mean, if our System 2 is so smart and logical, why does it just let System 1 trick us like that? Well, the answer is kind of simple and maybe a little unflattering. Our minds are, by nature, pretty lazy. And if you think this is just some easy mistake to avoid, get this. More than half of all the students at Harvard, MIT, and Princeton got it wrong. They gave that same intuitive and incorrect answer. At other universities, that number jumped to over 80%. So you see, this has nothing to do with how smart you are. The reason why is that our minds are basically hardwired to follow a law of least effort. Actually doing the math, checking the work, that takes effort. It means you have to wake up that slow, deliberate System 2. And System 2, well, it's fundamentally lazy. It loves what Kahneman calls cognitive ease. So if System 1 comes up with an answer that feels right, System 2 will often just kind of shrug and go, yeah, that looks good, without a second glance. You can see it right here in Kahneman's own words. We find thinking hard to be, mildly unpleasant, so we just avoid it when we can. It's just so much easier to trust that gut feeling from System 1, even when a tiny bit of mental work could save us from making a really big mistake. So System 1 isn't just fast and lazy, it's also this incredibly powerful hidden persuader. It's influencing us all the time in ways we don't even notice. So let's talk about one of its most fascinating tools, something called priming. So what is priming? It's basically when seeing or hearing one idea subconsciously gets a bunch of related ideas firing in your brain. For instance, if I first showed you the word eat and then asked you to complete the word S-O blank, you'd almost certainly think of soup. But what if I had primed you with the word wash instead? Then you'd probably think of soap. See? It happens totally automatically. It's a core function of your intuitive System 1. But priming isn't just about words. It can actually change our actions. In this really famous experiment, a group of students were asked to make sentences using words related to old age, words like Florida, wrinkle, and gray. Afterwards, without telling them why, the researchers timed them walking down a hallway, and the result was just wild. They walked way more slowly than another group who hadn't seen those words. The idea of being old primed them to act old, and they had absolutely no idea what was happening. This might be the most powerful example of all. So in an office kitchen, some researchers put up a poster over the honesty box, where people pay for coffee. And they changed the poster every week. Some weeks, it was a picture of flowers. Other weeks, it was a picture of watchful eyes staring out. The results were just astounding. You can see it in the spikes on this chart. During the weeks with the eyes, people paid nearly 3 times more money. Just the subtle, symbolic feeling of being watched completely changed their behavior. So if our brains are this easy to fool and this easy to influence, are we just doomed? No, not at all. The goal isn't to get rid of our fast, intuitive system 1. I mean, we literally need it to survive. The goal is to become a better thinker by knowing when to trust it and, more importantly, when to hit the brakes and tell it to slow down. All right, let's put it all together. You've got your fast, intuitive system 1 running the show most of the time, but it makes these predictable mistakes. Then you've got your slow, logical system 2, which can catch those mistakes, but it's lazy. So what's the solution? It's learning to recognize the situations where you're likely to mess up, especially when the stakes are high. That's your cue. That's your signal to consciously slow down, question that gut feeling, and bring in your system 2 for a second opinion. And really, that's the true power of understanding these two systems. It's not about acing puzzles. It's about getting a new language to talk about thinking itself. Because once you can see this invisible machinery working inside your mind, you can start to spot the errors, not just in other people, but more importantly, in yourself. So my final question for you is this. After hearing all this, what decision will you look at differently?